Hey guys, in this lesson, we're going to look at reflections again. So, last time we just reflected over the X or Y axis. Now we're going to change the line to maybe just a different vertical line or a different horizontal line or maybe even a diagonal line. Okay, so let's take a look. Just a couple of quick reminders. Remember that pre-image is what is where the original shape is, and then the image is the new points, shapes, figures, that kind of sort of thing. So you want to make sure that you're reading the words very carefully about if that's the image or the pre-image and that kind of sort of thing. So just getting that vocabulary in your head. Remember that reflections do not preserve orientation. Okay, so they don't face the same way, but they do preserve rigidity, which means it's going to be the same size. So there's no enlargement or shrinkage. So remember, if reflection is a flip, so it's still like if our patty paper, if we draw our triangle or whatever, and then we flip it over. Okay. It's just like, where is that line that we're going to flip over, or are we going to flip it in a diagonal way? So let's just take a look at this. It says number or example one says we're going to reflect triangle EFGH over the line x equals 1. So what I mean, you guys are probably at this point pretty good at reflections. What makes this difficult is knowing where is the line x equals 1. So remember, a vertical line is going to say x equals, and then a horizontal line is going to say y equals. So our vertical line, x equals 1, I would almost call it like our mirror line or our reflection line is going to be right here at 1, this vertical line. So then when I reflect it over, okay, so you just count basically how far a point is from the mirror line and then go that far past the point. So I'm going to, this is my new E, and then F. So if you know how to keep that, especially with a rectangle, this length here is 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So you can reflect it. Or if you just know where one point is reflected, you can then reflect the entire shape based on like the other shapes. So like with E, 2, 3, 4, 5, H is below it 5. So here's H on the same line, and then G is 3 past it. So that's G prime. So really, I only had to reflect 1. And let's take our closest one, right? So if it's a vertical or horizontal line, you can do that. So that's reflecting it across a line other than the axis. So if it's going to say x equals, that's going to be a vertical line. If it says y equals, that's going to be some number, whatever n is, okay? That's going to be a horizontal line. Okay, so this one is a tricky one, and it's really not that tricky once you learn how to do it, but you have to understand what a reflection does and then be able to perform that here. Okay, so counting however far it is from that line. So if I'm going to reflect this triangle over the line y equals x, I got to figure out what y equals x is. That's a linear parent function if you don't remember. So that's basically goes from like corner to corner. It's going to go through like every single point, all of that. So it looks just like that. All right. And now I am going to reflect diagonally. In order to do that, I'm going to basically make a 90-degree angle, a 90-degree turn whenever I count for each point. Okay, so here we go. So if I'm going to take X, and it doesn't matter which way you go, if you like to find it vertically or horizontally. I'm going to go vertically. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I am 4 away from my line in a vertical sense. I then, when I reflect it, I'm going to make a 90-degree angle and I'm going to turn and go 4 this way. There's my new X prime. Same thing for Z. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is Z prime. And then Y, I mean, even if I count vertically or horizontally, it's going to be a little bit further. I might always pick the closer one, like which one is going to be closer to the line. Y is pretty far from it regardless. So I know by reflecting it that my Y is going to be probably somewhere in this location. So I have a good idea about where it's going to be. I just don't know the exact location. But knowing where it is, I could probably like eliminate some answer choices based on where I know this is going to land. So let's count. I'm going to count vertically here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to the line vertically. So then I'm going to go 10 horizontally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be in that point right there. So it was in my highlighted spot. So I knew that's where it was. So then my shape looks like this. And so you can see that reflection. If I were to fold this paper on this diagonal line, you can see that they would fold on top of each other. And that's what we want. We want to make sure for a reflection, that's what we have. Okay, now we're going to reflect the triangle ABC over the line y equals negative x. So negative x means I'm going to have a negative slope. So it looks very similar to our last problem, except we're going to have a diagonal line this way. There we go. Oh my goodness, it's going right through my shape. Ooh. Okay. So this time, what you'll notice is I have some below and above. Okay, not a big deal. It's just going to kind of reflect across on each other. So on itself, I guess you would say. So let's look here. I'm going to start with A. Just I like to go in alphabetical order. So at A, 1, 2, 3, it's 3 below. I'm going to take a right turn and make this 1, 2, 3 to the right. So this is going to be A prime. How do you know if you're going to turn right or left? Well, if I were to turn left at this point, okay, my A would be somewhere over here, and that's not on each side of the line. I want to fold this and it be on top of each other on this line. If I were to fold it, A would not be on top of A prime if I go to the left. So I want it on each side of this mirror line. So I know that's which way to go. Now, B. So you'll notice that B is above. So I can count B above. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, and I'm going to make a 90-degree angle. Again, I want it to be on the other side of the line. So I'm going to go left this way too. So this gets me B prime. So I want it on the opposite side. That's how I know which way to turn. And then C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 below. I want it on the other side of the line, so I'm going to go 5 to the right from my line. And then that's going to be C prime. So there is my reflection across the line y equals negative x. So it kind of, if I were to fold it, those points would fold to be on top of each other. If you'll notice, my BC was a vertical line. So therefore, whenever I reflect it across the line y equals x or in negative x, it becomes, it makes a 90-degree turn. So it does turn there. So it kind of looks, so sometimes like a reflection across the line y equals x looks like a turn. And you're thinking, well, it's supposed to be a reflection, it's supposed to be count past. It's because of the way, it's because of the diagonal line works. So your challenge problem here, because it's kind of difficult, is just to reflect this across the line y equals x. So graph that line. If you want to, what you could do is use patty paper here if you wanted to, and then just fold it on that end and then see where those points fall. Or you can reflect it, flip your paper or your triangle or your sheet, whatever, patty paper over, in a diagonal way. You can do that as well. So this is reflections part 2. Again, if you have x equals, that's going to be a vertical line. If you have y equals, that's going to be a horizontal line. We didn't see a y equals in our example, but you can be certain you'll find one in your skill check. The harder ones, are the line y equals x and the line y equals negative x. So those are a little bit more challenging. Remember, you're going to count, it doesn't matter which way, either vertically and then you make a 90-degree turn because it's a 45, basically a 45-degree angle that we're trying to reflect across. So that's why I'm going to turn and go at a different angle for my reflection across the line y equals x or y equals negative x. So I hope that you are comfortable and more confident now to be able to reflect these a little bit more challenging problems. I highly encourage you to practice this one time and the challenge problem before you try to attempt your skill check or maybe even try that quizzes or Blooket. So that's it for reflections part two. Okay, a little bit more challenging, reflecting over the line y equals x and other vertical and horizontal lines that we didn't see in the last lesson.